Okay, the recording has started.
Now, what are you trying to do? Say it's my divine portion?
No, I think he spelled
No, I know. Tom, I know what the hell he's talking about, okay?
Okay.
He's talking about a religious bullshit, okay?
Right. So he posted a link just 10 minutes ago on the group, and I haven't looked at it at all. So I
just got it from Dan the Seal Man, Dan Judd. He's a friend of mine out here in California. He lives over in the Bay Area. I'm up here in Sacramento. He called me up, asked me if I got my email, and had this thing in there. So I went and looked at it. I watched it for like the last half hour or whatever it is. And it's really, the guy's pretty well spoken. And he's just talking about how we get stuck and how things don't work unless you do this. And you mentioned earlier about, rescinding all your underwriting and being watching out for the Achilles heel that can get you stuck in there. And this sounded like an Achilles heel. And it's like you got to listen to it a little bit. I mean,
Well, no, he's got to listen to me, okay? He don't know the damn monetary system, okay? I'm getting fed up with all these so-called gurus out here that think they know what the hell's going on. I walk the damn walk. I can talk the talk. These other guys, they're just talking.
I just went and listened to it, and I thought it was worth listening to.
Before you post anything like that, please check it out, okay?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
But you didn't understand the whole thing, and basically you don't understand what the hell I'm saying.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm trying to understand it. He's saying almost the same thing you are.
You're trying to spread yourself all over the damn map is what you're doing. And that's what half these people are out here are doing, is they can't sit and basically take what I've tried to tell them. Hey, prove me wrong. Okay? If I'm doing the damn research, okay, then go and prove me wrong.
We're not trying to prove you wrong, Patrick. I was just saying.
I am. We're trying to prove
what he's saying, what this guy Peter Eugene is saying, is that
I've never heard of this guy before. Okay,
I never heard of him either.
Who in the hell is this Peter Eugene that he knows something that I don't? Okay?
I don't know. I just found out about him.
Hey,
maybe Dan's on the call. Dan's the one that gave it to me. Dan's the seal man that makes the embossers and stuff. Is Dan on the call? Maybe he can say something.
Eplo, you had something to say?
I was just telling you, you can find out all about that on privatist.me. They have all kinds of free things about it and everything. I've looked into it, and it's... No.
I'm not trying to diminish Patrick's information at all. I just thought that there's an Achilles heel that could hang us up, we should know about it. That's my only intent here,
and
Patrick.
That's what I try to tell you about these Achilles heels out here.
Yeah.
And that you have to revoke all of your underwritings, your pledges in the damn process.
Right, and I think that's number one first thing we should have in our mind, our court, everything else. Everything we should do, that's where it starts.
Yeah. They're just trying to claim the birth, the afterbirth, and saying that's how they created the straw man, and that's what that basically is all about. It's bunk, I think, but that's just me.
Yeah, it just looked like an Achilles heel. That's all I brought it up for. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Misleading information is what it is, because the guy doesn't have the basic of how the monetary system really functions.
Right.
Okay? Until you have the understanding of how the monetary functions, you don't understand the monetary system.
Right.
And that's what got most of these people in here with their Achilles heels that has kept them ingrained into the damn system, because they didn't know how simple this damn thing was. They want to make it more damn complicated than what it really is by reading all the damn codes and everything out here that are written for the damn dummies.
Right. I understand that. I like all your information you're giving us. It's great information. It's just that, you know, like,
no, it's facts. It's not information. Yeah. It's facts.
Yeah, it's facts.
Okay, it's facts. You're wrong that they're not facts.
Right. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just making sure.
That is your goal in life, is to prove me wrong.
No, it's not.
That's your challenge.
No, I'm not. Okay, yeah, I'll do that if I think I need to do that. If I think you made a mistake, I'll bring it up to you.
If you don't want to prove me wrong, then I must be right. So why the fuck are you going anywhere else? That's my point.
It fell in my lap. I'm not going anywhere else. It fell in my lap. It looked like something that we should pay attention to.
You throw it away, okay? I throw garbage in a damn trash can every day that comes into my mailbox.
Right.
You need to know when to separate yourself from the BS.
Patrick's just saying to do your work first before you post anything, because if you're going to prove him wrong, come to something that has facts and then bring it to him so he can prove him wrong. He wants He wants you to try to prove him wrong so he can show that what he's saying is true. We all want that. We want to get to the truth. So you don't have to be afraid to try to prove Patrick wrong. It's not a thing where he's yelling at you. He's just saying, if you can prove him wrong, then that means we need something to learn more. That's all it means.
Right. It's just another item on the plate. I didn't mean to prove anybody wrong. I don't think Patrick is missing anything. That's not what's there.
Well,
it's
then,
just sharing the information.
The whole thing that really got me, Steve, was basically that divine DS, okay?
Yeah, proportion, yeah.
Just because my name is divine, okay, I don't like the usage of this other divine out here as basically a religious aspect of it out here. No, you have a human right, okay?
Right.
You have your spirit. You have to stand beside that. You don't go out there and rely upon any other thing. It's your spirit that brought you to life. That's what gave you your substance.
Right. I was looking at the information like a fruit inspector, because you said the same thing. We got to be fruit inspectors. We got to decide if this is like good or not, or, you know, that's all. I looked at his information like a fruit inspector. I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong or right.
Hey, I just want to say I appreciate what you looked at, because I've looked at it too. But I think what Patrick's trying to say is, until it's something that you have a fact that refutes something of his, don't really bring it up here, because it just confuses everything.
Yeah, don't dump a link and have us go off and concentrate on that. We've got enough.
And basically, please forget all the garbage out there about genetic alterations and everything else. All this chem clouds and everything like that. That's all misleading information. Yeah, it's basically killing people, but basically until you understand, you're dead anyway.
Right.
Okay?
Right. They're burning the dead wood.
Yeah, you're going to die. I mean, basically, as soon as you turn 25, you're on the downhill side of death. You're dying. That's a fact. When you reach 25, you have fully matured. Okay? Now, you're on the side of your life cycle. You're dying.
Right.
Now, they can help you along in the damn process if you worry about it. They'll help you along a lot faster, because worry is the biggest killer in this country. They get you scared shitless.
Yeah, I could see that. You never have a peaceful moment. They're always starting another war over in Ukraine or over in China or somewhere else.
Just look at your own damn family. How basically the health of the family, your siblings and everything else, when they start worrying about everything, their health just starts deteriorating. Yeah. Because they're worrying. and that brings on the sickness.
Correct.
Yep.
And there's only one way to be able to come out of this system, and that is basically you had to go into the system to be able to come out. But you had to go in knowing how the system functions so that you can fight your way out. And you have to fight to get out of a system. Just like in the movie Adjustment Bureau. You want your free will, you're going to have to fight for it. And nobody can hand it to you.
And they kept trying to find the right door in that movie.
Well, that's basically what we've been doing. We've been trying to go through all the right doors there.
Hey, I wanted to, I don't know if this is the best time to bring it up, but I will just so we can get it out of the way. Basically, I've had a little better, this is Eplo, but I've had a little bit better understanding. I've talked with Patrick a number of times too, but basically, Patrick, you can chime in any time when I say something you don't like or whatever. But I've kind of just recently kind of seen everything as, we know it's a double bookkeeping system. That means there's two sets of books. Patrick always talks about the way the money flows. You know, you got to know the way the money flows. In two sets of books, like the way they deal the CAFR funds and things like that is they have one thing that's called the balance sheet, which is a balance of a credit and a debit. And then they've got another books, which are called the budget. And the budget is the day-to-day. That's the, expenses and income of that day. And then they put that into the bigger book, which is called the balance sheet. It turns into 4 columns, a debit and credit in each one. So a debit and credit I've equated to the straw man as 1, which is their fake system, whatever you want to call it, the fictional system. That has a debit and a credit. And then your real man, it has a debit and a credit. But what Patrick's shown to me is that when you have all 4 of the forms or the receipts or credits and slips to fill each one of those 4 columns, then the system is balanced. But if you only are filling, which most people think they know how the money system works, they only deal with 2 columns. And they're right. They think they know what's right in the budget, the day-to-day, the expenses and the payments out there. But if they don't work with the other 2 columns, then the account stays open forever because most people don't even know that there's 2 sets of books running. So I'm just putting that out there for everyone as a general understanding because I think it helps everyone understand how the system really works, that money flow, knowing that there's 4 columns, not 2. And that's all I really wanted to say.
Quadruple entry accounting?
Mm-hmm.
But the CAFR problem, the budgets are usually fraudulent because they don't show all the income. They only show tax income.
Well, they show it somewhere in one of those 4 columns. But the idea is basically that when you deal with your own stuff, you deal in a budget every day. You have gas money and you have whatever. You have income and you have expenses. You only deal with 2 columns. You don't need to worry about the other 2 columns, but generally that would come when your taxes come. That's your balance sheet. That's all of your income and all of your budgets put into one, and then you total that up. But that's basically on that fictional person because only fictions have to file taxes. So that's the other 2 columns. So if you kind of understand it in a bigger picture, it'll dawn on you, but if you understand it that way, a lot of this stuff becomes a lot easier to understand. At least it did for me.
Yeah, basically is what it is, okay? You've got 2 books, okay? You've got the debit and you've got the credit side. And then you've got sub-accounts in those debits and credit accounts that are out there that need to be offset in the process, okay? And that's why you need to understand that we were filling out the 1099 A's, C's, and the OIDs wrong, okay? Because we thought we knew what was going on, but we didn't, okay? So we were missing a key component in there that our fictional person cannot function those accounts. We have to function them for him. And that's the robot theory, is basically like in the movie Matrix, we have to put the robot suit on, but yet they have to supply the lubricants and everything to that robot. So we come in, and now we can understand that we have to do certain functions for our robot so that he can function out here for us.
Yeah, the robot is the transformer creature, whatever you call it. You sit at the very top of the transformer, but you don't own the transformer. That's owned by, say, the government or whatever, and they kind of hire you to run that to, say, protect people or whatever else. But when you get out of that robot, that's not your robot, but you were responsible as your job, your employer or whatever, to keep that thing running good and everything. But when it has a problem, needs some oil, needs some gas, you don't pay for it. You submit an expense report, and you basically make that robot maintenance log part of that sheet, and you send in like a 1099-C or whatever it would be to offset that expense for the employer part of your life, but not your private life. You don't pay for that in your out of your pocket. Does that make sense?
That's what everybody out here has been fighting, is they haven't known how to claim those expenses back from them, because they were out here trying to say that they had free will. Well, you do have free will. Your free will is you need to get out there and learn the system. Learn the real laws, not these counterfeit laws that are for the dummies. Your robot is a dummy. Just like the president of this country right now is a dummy director. He's a traitor to the people because he is getting a share of stock for the profits that are being made while he is in office. Why do you think these guys want to be the president? And why do they prevent you from being the president of the United States? Because you're not in the inner clique. You will never be able to be the president of this corporation, this dummy corporation.
Basically,
now, is that America? No. That is a corporation. But you can come out of the system, and how you do that, you have to come in and know how they set this process up with the pledges and with the signing the counterfeiting and the copywriting and infringement out here. Now when you have the basic facts, now you can go to court. But otherwise, you're just alleging things, and you really don't have the understanding to prove them. Any rebuttal?
I agree with it.
Yeah. It's basically just knowing your position. If you know the position and you know the big picture, what Patrick's going to show you, then basically everything just has its place, and you put it in your place. Like any other kind of thing, when you buy something on the internet and you bring it home, it's got instructions of where the parts go. But if you don't know how the whole picture is going to look, the whole machine or whatever you're building in the first place, then you'll never know exactly how it goes together. I've had that myself, where I put things together not even knowing exactly how it's going to go together until I started, assemble it, and then took it apart and started putting it together. But as soon as I see the big picture of it, I go, oh, it's supposed to look like this. That's what he's trying to say.
It's like getting a bunch of parts and not knowing it's a bicycle.
Right, or not even knowing that you're missing a part.
Well, it's also like, okay, out here in their system, the instructions are there. You have to find them. But there's 25,000 other sets of instructions that are laying all over the damn place, and everybody's picking up the wrong set of instructions out here.
They're using the decoys.
Yeah. And that's what all those codes and everything, in the wording that they use in those codes, they're a wrong set of instructions to deceive you, to keep you in the system, to make it more complicated. It's not that complicated. Jesus had it in the Bible. Very simple.
Well, I want to say one other thing. This is understanding. It is complicated, but it's not complicated when you have the right parts. In other words, when you put something together, if you have only the parts that refer to that particular thing you're putting together, it's easy. But if someone threw in a weird piece or other pieces that don't go with that, then all of a sudden you're really confused. You're going, why do I have this part? What is this part? And basically what that is when you have these other people's information, if you look at it as a dictionary, okay, the dictionary has a number of meanings for the same word. Mm-hmm. Well, depending on which place you're at, that meaning, and I wish I could pull up a word right now to think of it, but say parent or whatever. I mean, I don't know what word I could use, but say parent. You're either the parent of a child or you're the parent of the church, like the Pope, is the parent of the church. They're all parents, but depending from the status and where they come, all those words are put in to mean something, but only if you're in that position to use it. So when you bring in this other stuff like this divine proportion or whatever you would do, if it doesn't have to do with what you're working with, it's going to confuse the shit out of you.
Yeah. That's why I keep asking when people bring up stuff tell me how it's relevant.
Okay, I'll tell you how it's relevant. He talked right at the beginning. I remember this. I only listened to it once. He says you have to claim the certificate of live birth to bring it forward for settlement. I mean, I know Patrick talks about the same thing. I agree with that. Then he just talks about things like that. It's very pertinent information. It's exactly what Patrick's saying. I just thought it was intriguing that other people were coming up with almost the same thing Patrick's saying. It's not anything against him. It's like, here's somebody that's talking about the same thing too. That's all.
Just like one guy I talked to down in St. Louis, basically that on Angela Stark's show, supposedly, this guy brought up this topic about putting on a suit or something, and then when I brought up the deal about the robot, he said, well, basically we're on the same track, but we're not on the same track because I'm not ahead of him, okay? Because I'm talking now about the dummy side of the 1099 A, B, or ACs and OIDs to basically get some damn funds in your damn pocket. Now, when you understand and you can start putting those things into place and you're coming in as an employee or a citizen of the corporation like Walmart and making Walmart be the settler of those items, now when you go to the utility and you have the United States Treasury at the top, are they going to contest that? They better not. But if you come in there with your name on there only, yeah, they will try and contest it because they think they've got more money than you do. But when you bring in the corporate dummy corporation They're the ones that are holding the money over the utility company or whatever, over Walmart, because they had to go and borrow the money from that treasury. So now if you come in as an employee of that treasury, oh, that just changed the whole damn outlook.
Right, your status or capacity.
Not our status, but basically the status of the charge against them.
Right. But I mean the position that you're coming from, your status. Whether you're an employee or you're a man or whatever you are.
Yeah, and you put on your suit of armor out there, your protection in the process.
Do you ever get to the point where you don't have to deal with them at all?
Yes, and that's what will come about. And we have to go in to come out. We have to have the understanding so we could know how to come out. We now know fully, for a total fact, that they are committing conspiracy to defraud, that they are committing counterfeiting, and that they are doing infringement of our copyright, our patent, and our right of trade. Then we can take them into a civil court action, a constitutional circuit civil court, which is going to be a tribunal court that stands over this sub-dummy corporation to basically break the bonds, because basically what they have over us right now is letters of marque. All those traffic tickets and everything out there, okay? The states were not supposed to be able to write letters of marque. It's in the Constitution. But yet, every one of those traffic tickets is a letter of marque. It's a charge against the people of this country. And that's what a letter of marque does.
The letter of marque actually gives the municipality or whatever the right to go and pick up the employee or whoever is doing something wrong.
Yes.
That's their right to regulate.
And that's why in their dummy corporation, all charges are criminal. There is no civil charges in this dummy corporation. It's all criminal charges.
Most of the law says that in the common law or whatever, like I'm in Utah, but it basically says that all charges are civil. They're even though they're criminal, they're all civil.
That's what they're supposed to be per the Constitution. Okay.
But they make them criminal against their statutes or their codes
in the dummy corporation, okay, which is not under the Constitution anymore. It's a charter. It's a completely foreign charter. See, it's registered out of England. So it's a foreign dummy corporation. And that's why the president is a traitor to this country, because he is a shareholder in a foreign corporation, a for-profit corporation.
He's a foreign agent.
Yes.
Or an employee of the corporation.
Well, but any employee is an agent.
Right. But the corporation, the dead thing, is the one side of the books, and the living guy is the other side of the books. But if you're not, the confusion comes in when you try to decide which side you're looking from. When Patrick's talking about you being an employee, you file certain types of papers. If you're coming from the other side, you would file the opposite set of papers. There's always two sides to every transaction. But what he's saying basically is we have to know the whole program because we're going to work from both sides depending where we're working, where our position is. If you're working either as the operator of the big transformer, or if you're operating as the guy who got out of the transformer is just a regular guy now.
So the 4 columns in our accounting book are the living credit and debit and the dummy debit and credit.
Yeah, and your employee credit and debit. Kind of like you do at work anyway. You know, the expenses that you make at work, those go to the corporation. The expenses that you do in your home, those go to your home account, your home bank account compared to your business bank account. It's really simple. But you just have to put yourself in the right position. Are you working for them as an employee in that particular transaction, or are you working for yourself?
Right.
Yeah, see, basically is what they've got you. You're driving a truck for Walmart, okay? Now, it's Walmart's truck. Who's responsible for putting the gas in the truck? Walmart. But what they have you doing right now is you're putting the gas in the truck for Walmart.
Yeah, out of your own pocket.
Out of your own pocket, yeah.
And you're not submitting a 1099-C or whatever to cancel that debt so that the corporation ends up taking that.
You're not submitting your expense accounts.
See how simple that really is? I mean, it's really simple if you put it in the right. I'm a simpleton, but you got to make it.
I like that kind of simple.
Well, that's what it is. When he says robot and all that, that's great, you know, theater basically. But the truck is the robot. It's something that you use, you operate in. It's not something that's living. It's a robot.
You get in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you get in the driver's seat.
When you turn the key off, doesn't the truck die?
Yeah. And you get out and go back
night.
home.
It's dead. So, in the terminology that the IRS uses out there about the decedent and stuff like that, they're talking about that dead robot, that dead dummy, that basically when you put him in his box at night and shut the lid, he dies. And you are the one that's resurrecting him every morning by turning the key on, starting him up. Now, what you have to do is basically get in there and have a letter of marquee on you because of your pledges.
Did Patrick get dropped off? Because other people on the chat are complaining about getting dropped off.
Yeah, they're talking about people are getting dropped off.
Huh. Okay.
I don't see anything in the chat. Mine just says group call. It doesn't say anything.
No, there are two Skype groups.
Oh, there are. Okay.
One is the call group, and we only use that to call into the show. Though people post stuff in it, we really don't answer it there. The other one is the check out of the system group where we chat on different questions all week long. And in fact, that's where Stephen dropped the link to Divine Providence.
Oh, okay. Not Divine Providence, Divine Proportion. Those are two different things.
Divine Proportion, right. We didn't even bring up Divine Providence, and is O'Brien still in jail?
Yeah,
okay, it's Patrick. I'm back on. Battery went dead, so I had to plug it in. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Other people on the chat group were talking about getting disconnected from the call too. So you had the battery, but other people are having other problems.
Yeah. So anyway, when we basically we have to go in because they're holding a letter of marquee over us right now in the process because of our pledges and oaths that we have taken to them to basically hand over our support. See, the Pledge of Allegiance says, I pledge allegiance to support and defend. And basically, yeah, you were going to defend the country, but support means you handed over all your assets to them. And see, there was never a Pledge of Allegiance prior to these guys taking power, starting to take over in the 1913, basically, but under Woodrow Wilson, when they started this whole outlay, the final push. They were already starting their inrush with the Civil War. The bankers got in and basically split the country right down the middle to get both sides into debt. And then they brought in this false scenario, this debt monetary system, the postal money system instead of the post office money system in this country in 1871. And then they set up a copyright of the United States of America to form the USA in 1871, but it was copyrighted out of the Temple Bar, the Temple Bankers Bar of London out here. And then basically the Temple mercantile law system out of Rome stepped in to enforce their mercantile law system upon the people. And that's what most all of these codes out here are. They're mercantile law codes. They're not martial law codes, they're mercantile law codes. The martial law comes in is that basically they have taken over, and see, there's 3 temples out here. There's the mercantile law temple out of Rome. There's the banker temple out of London. And then basically we have the governmental temple enforcement out here, which is run out of Washington, D.C. for the whole damn world. Are we not fighting wars all over the world?
Hello?
Yeah, Washington, D.C., Dummy Corporation Temple has expanded all around the world. So you got the 3 temples set up there. Pretty much the same way with the 3 pyramids in Egypt.
The 3, Patrick, you can correct me on this, but the 3, the civil jurisdiction, the military jurisdiction, and the ecclesiastical jurisdiction.
Well, or ecclesiastical is really mercantile, and then you have the bankers' monetary control, and then you have the enforcement temple.
Okay, well, how would you equate those to a civil system, a military system, and a ecclesiastical or church system?
Well, the enforcement is the military. Okay?
So that's
the ecclesiastical is basically the mercantile law system, and then the other one is the banker system, the debt money system. That's really what it is.
Then I was downtown the other day, and this is just a sidelight, but it's interesting, I thought. I was downtown, and I realized that almost every downtown has a main street, which is when people are, a state street, which in a capital city like I live in, has the Capitol at the end of the street, so that's State Street, and then it has Temple Street. And most cities seem to have those streets. They almost all have a main street. Some of them have a State Street, and a lot of them have Temple Street. But it's just interesting, you know, that you do have these three things, and you have to kind of understand where you're at in the system. It's all about understanding where you're at and where you're coming from.
Yeah. And basically they've got the agents out of all three of them out here. You've got the BAR, BAR, Bank Authorized Representatives, the bank card, the courts, the judges, all the attorneys, okay, they're BAR agents, okay? And then you have the enforcement, basically, which is run out of the Temple State. And see, every state has a enforcement temple out here too. And that is basically what has taken over the state capitals. The dummy state corporation. And then you have the mercantile law enforcers, which are the Church of Rome. The bishops of the Episcopalian, Roman Catholic, whatever. They're all mercantile law enforcers. So you've got the three temples, even at the state level. Now, to come out of the system, like I said, you have to, I posted those templates up there to look at how to do those 1099A, B, or AC, and OIDs. I tried to lay that out in the audio that I posted yesterday, and then also some last night on the call. If you guys get anything from any of these other guys, how about sending my shit back to them and say, hey, you might want to look at this shit?
That's a good idea.
Dave here.
That too many of these damn guys are, and basically, yeah, you might say, I have an ego. No, I have the facts, okay? I can prove my shit. And I've walked the damn path. I've stood in courts, and I've stood them down in some of this stuff out here.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could do a little, I don't know, experiment or, not experiment, that's not the right word, but a little demonstration or whatever. I was wondering if we could take those 4 columns of the ledgers, basically the straw man ledger and the real man ledger, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter how we name it. But basically, take a transaction, any transaction, let's say buying a house or whatever you were explaining to me earlier, and we could say, show kind of, if everyone would grab a piece of paper, we could kind of graph it out to show how the flow works.
Okay,
like,
I'll run you through a scenario of what happens, okay?
Okay.
With a utility company. Utility company basically produces power. We're going to do an electric utility company.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the fiscal year for that utility company, they have to zero their books. They cannot carry anything over because that's the way the banking system in this country is set up. They have to zero their books, so they have to borrow from the bankers to operate the next day after they zero their books. So they zero their books by giving out to their shareholders any extra profits, or their chief executive officers their additional stuff. So like Enron, $100 million to the president of the damn thing.
That's why they have a
I
Happy
think he's
New
in
Year.
jail now, but that's beside the point, okay? They have to zero their books, so they get all the money off the books. Now, they go to the bank the next day. Well, they've got so many employees working for them, so they put in a charge for the employees to get the pay to pay the employees by way of the W-4 form. Okay?
Okay.
Now, they have a customer database out here of so many customers. And most of those customers gave their Social Security number, but they don't need that because they're going in and they're placing a into the bank as a draw with the bank as a trade acceptance or a banker's acceptance to go to the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank turns around and takes that request and turns it over to the dummy, the USA Dummy Corporation Treasury to place a lien for that amount of money in their treasury. Now, the Treasury turns around and takes that lien and places another lien against the American People's Treasury out here under the Treasury Department. So, we have the liens in place. Now, with the liens in place, they can turn around to the Bureau of Public Debt or your state bureaus, insurance departments, and write the bonds to start having the people buy the bonds or the insurance out here to fund the damn monetary system coming in. So the people are paying for all this stuff out of their back pocket from the get-go.
Patrick, does all the CFO know about this? A certain level of CFOs know about all this stuff?
The CFOs do.
Yeah, they all have their own little part in this.
They all know a certain portion of this. They may not know the whole picture, but it's basically in the dictionary there, and you could check this out in Bouvier's dictionary. Go in and read what it says about the comptroller of the currency. At the end of 3 years, basically they have to close down the bonds. Those bonds can only be written for 3 years. So the money that is generated, the Federal Reserve dollars that are given over to this utility company, all of those Federal Reserve dollars are registered. At the end of 3 years, those registered dollar bills that were created 3 years ago have to come off the books.
Okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm trying to help everyone kind of simplify this out because that's the way that I think, I guess. Because you're saying it all, and it makes total sense when you hear it, but to see it graphically, when you take the A's, the C's, the OID, and the voucher, okay, in that type of an example, like you would take, first of all, you would get the original bill.
Well, let me go through the rest of the scenario, and then I will hit on that again. It's in the audios that I talked about yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
I try to be pretty explicit in talking about what needs to be done with the OID and with the 1099-C, okay?
I was just going to help people graph it out.
In this process, now we have the liens in place. They turn around and write the bonds.
Yeah, I kind
Now.
of two so far.
Huh?
I kind of two liens so far. You got the initial transaction, and that gets one lien, and then that party gets a lien from the other party. So we got like three parties involved.
Well, yes, on that second lien, is what the first lien is a general lien against the Treasury,
yes, but
and
you
then
don't
the
have to worry about all that, okay?
Yeah, we don't.
Right.
Okay.
And we haven't got to our part yet.
We're just trying to understand it. That's
yes.
your control.
I'm just trying to explain to you how the whole damn process works.
He's
so
talking
that
about the
basically
player.
you can understand that I'm not a fucking idiot. Okay?
Oh, we know
Nobody's
that.
saying you are, Pat.
I know.
I don't know.
But basically there's a lot of people out there that think I am, okay? All these other damn gurus that think they know what the shit they're talking about, and they don't have a damn friggin' idea.
I followed all of them around. My money's on you, man.
No, you're great, Patrick. We're just trying to get it so we can graph it out and see it how it works, like how you move A, the C, the OID, just between the four lines.
I tried to lay this out before years ago in some of this graphics that I posted up there.
Yeah.
But see, nobody ever grasped onto what the hell I was talking about 2 or 3 years ago.
No.
Okay?
Well, I mean, when you're talking about the liens and stuff, people, they just know that's where it goes, but they don't really know how it affects the four columns or the two sets of books, how it moves around. That's basically what I'm saying.
But you don't need to worry about those other columns, okay?
We do have a debit credit thing going on here, so there's like two books, right?
Yeah. So, like what we're saying is, and you're explaining it, but I mean, you first of all got the original charge that you're going to cancel or whatever else, right?
Yes, and
so that would be like the 1099C.
But let me. Okay.
Yeah, let's
continue. Okay, let me finish before any more questions or any other stuff is put in there. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. We've gotten the liens and everything else in place. We've got the bonds written. Now, that utility company is under obligation to make the payment back to the dummy corporate treasury at the end of the year. Now, you pay out of your back pocket for that utility. They are withholding from you because you are a dummy corporate employee or citizen. You're supposed to supply a set-off so that they don't have to pay it back to the dummy corporate treasury. And that's what the 1099 OID or the 1099C is doing.
So we're paying the debt back for the utility company.
No, we're canceling it.
You're canceling it. Setting it off.
They do not have to pay it back because they gave us a service.
Right. Okay.
So it is a set-off.
It's a set-off to the charge. Right.
It's a set-off. And see, a tax is a transfer asset between two parties. Exchange. Transfer asset exchange is what tax stands for. TAX. Transfer asset exchange. You're exchanging their debt that they owe back to the corporate dummy treasury for the services that they have supplied to you. That's why everything is a tax out here. It's not a tax, it's a transfer of asset exchange. Does that make sense to you people?
That makes a whole lot of sense. Especially when you call us the American tax collectors. That makes a lot of sense now.
Yes, we're getting the services. Now, if they have withheld it from us and we paid it out of our back pocket, they're only entitled to one payment, either the set-off or the payment. If they don't give us the set-off, then they have to make the payment back to the Treasury. And the only way that we can force them to make that known is that they got paid, and that they withheld the payment from us to do the set-off is the OID, the original issue discount, the discounted money that was given to them with the original loan. The C is basically you do that one when you get the bill, but you have to come in as an employee of the dummy corporation, stating that they do not have to pay that back to the Treasury. But you have to address it that you are an authorized representative of the dummy corporation Treasury. That's why I tried to put the wordage up there on the 1099-C and the 1099 OID. Care of you. But the original lender was the dummy corporation Treasury. And you as a citizen with an SSN or as an employee with an EIN number, then you have a right because you are now an authorized representative. Now, if you paid out of the back pocket, okay, you have a right to reclaim that, but only after you've done a 1099 OID and forced them to make the payment back to the Treasury and identified it that now it is that much asset in the Treasury does not have a lien against it. You have removed that amount of money or that amount of asset from being lienable. Now you come in and do a 1099-A against that corporate treasury as you are coming in as a foreign grantor, as your dummy clerk or American citizen dummy banker with your 98 series EIN to claim that amount back.
So the abandonment is just like a claim back?
It's a claim back because it is now assets that no longer have a lien on them, and it is owed to you, and the first one in the door is the one who is able to claim it. And that's why you do a 1099 A, but you have to have the support with the 1099 OID, and you have to give a voucher to the treasurer of the country or the United States treasurer, but it goes not to Pennsylvania Avenue, it goes to Ogden, Utah, where it says to send the 1090 or the 1040V or the 1041V to. So you send a 1041 or 1040V along with a bill of exchange to exchange that asset. And you can either do that on the back as a outright bill of exchange, or you would do that as a outright bill of exchange and send that in and use sort of a template that I had there posted up there yesterday. Okay, you don't need to put that on the back of the DD-214 or the certificate of live birth at this point. Okay? That would be an outright to where you're going in and claiming so much funds out of your American Treasury account.
We would put that on the back of the utility bill.
No, you could, if you want to, yeah. But you're going to be basically doing a countersigning on the back of the utility bill that you send back to the utility company along with their B copy of the 1099-C.
Okay.
Okay, Pat. When we send a 1099-A, that's eventually money in our pocket, isn't it?
They will have to send it or deposit it into an account that we assign. Tell them to put it into.
Or let me put it another way. Instead of paying my utility bill, I'm going to send out a 1099-A, and that's going to set it off. But that's like an income because that doesn't come out of my pocket.
No.
Oh.
You get a utility bill. You do a 1099-C and cancel the debt that they owe back to the USA dummy corporate treasury because they borrowed the money out there to begin with.
Oh.
You got the service, so they no longer have to pay that much debt back to the treasury.
And you send that 1099-C to the IRS?
You send the B copy to the utility company, and you do a countersigning on the back of the utility bill. And now, when you put that this is coming in from the corporate, from the USA corporate dummy corporation treasury, and you are a authorized care of employee or citizen of that corporation,
so you endorse
it's a completely different matter now. They have to do it.
You kind of like endorse it as the employee.
Yes. Or the citizen.
You're the corporate employee dummy.
Yes.
Right.
You are a dummy. Your robot is out there doing this for you.
Yep.
He's the one that is the employee, not you, the living.
Right.
That robot shell belongs to the corporation. You're only in there allowed to operate it.
The live man sleeps and the dummy does all the work. I like that.
Yeah.
So this is a question I have. As we operate through the capacity of that robot shell, for those of us who have taken that individual into a state capacity as a decedent, is that going to affect the status of that when it is shown that this individual is still executing or presenting as if they have life to them?
Yeah, you basically raise him up at nighttime. He's a vampire. He's a bloodsucker. Okay?
That's the same effect. It's just a different status.
He has a different number, I think.
Yeah, you have lots of different robot suits to wear.
Yeah, see, a citizen can operate in the daytime, but a vampire can operate at nighttime.
Yeah, you got
so
two
you're
kinds of
operating your robot at night.
You got the Volkswagen and you got the executor model.
Yeah.
In the truck.
Yeah, you're a night shift employee.
The limo.
Go on, people, think about this.
My dummy looks like Obama.
Yeah.
I like that analogy though you used, because I was really thinking about, how you would operate through that still without, the issue of you utilizing
look at the 1096 form. Look at the 1096 form.
Yeah.
It's got both an EIN and the SSN on there.
Yes.
So you can both be an employee and a citizen at the same time. You can operate as a citizen during the daylight and as an employee at the night shift.
You're saying that a state EIN stands as the employee's identification number.
Yes, isn't that what it calls it? The employee identification number, EIN?
That's very interesting. Because it's been right there in front of my face the whole time. I just didn't see it like that until you brought up this clarification.
Yeah, just like people don't understand the word tax. It's 3 letters.
Yeah, I got to set up a Monopoly board and lay all these things out and get used to it.
That's why I keep trying to say to build a flow chart. It's really simple if you can put a flow chart together. But if you had it all in front of our eyes, Patrick is explaining it. You would just watch the arrows on the chart and you see how it works.
That Patrick just gave us the big picture on that.
Right.
Since you're familiar with this accounting, why don't we work that out on the chat Skype group, and then submit that to Patrick and let him critique
so
it.
What's the word you don't have to submit it to me. I'm not an approver of anything.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We just see the flow that we're doing and see if that's how it works. But see, the flow is going to change from your different positions, and that's where it gets confusing. If we can just stick with one type of position, which what Patrick led the example to,
and basically that's why I tried to. You can just get a basic understanding of how a utility company works out here, and how the W-4 form, and see. That's how they make the money. They write the bonds against the employees to make the payment to them, but they withhold so much from the employees, and the employees have to claim that back with canceling the debt out there for the withholding taxes, okay, from the OID. Basically, you're the one that basically the labor is owed to, so you have to cancel that so you can claim that amount back per your 1040 form.
So we would use the 1040 in that capacity to claim back.
Well, you may, but if we really force the issue, we can do it with the 1099A when we cancel the debt. Now it becomes lien free, and basically we can come in and claim it as abandoned property with our 98 series number for those that have a 98 series number. That's why you needed to get that, so that then you can operate in both worlds until you basically shut down the one world and decide to stay on land.
What's it take to do that?
What, to get the 98 series number?
No, to shut down and stay on land.
Okay, that's when you take your charge in there and against this foreign corporation, and you put a stop to their letters of marque, and you take it into a circuit, a constitutional circuit court, okay? And it's got to be a tribunal court in the process. But you put your charges in, coming in from your court of equity, which is a superior court, to this court to interface with the corporation. Okay?
So it'll be man to fiction then, right?
Huh?
It'll be man to fiction then?
It's going to be a slam dunk, is what it's going to be.
But how do you go in as? Are you going in as the all
You
caps
submit 3 copies into them, and basically you'll probably get a notice from them saying you're out of the system. they'll probably send the men in black with a bunch of guns out to see you.
Why?
Have a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah. And explain how they could do this for themselves.
Yeah, see, all you have to do is submit this in. This is what one bankruptcy judge told a couple guys down South Carolina. You can do this shit yourself.
The other time you went in, he kind of hinted to it to you before, right?
Yeah.
How many people do you know that have done this effectively besides yourself?
Oh, 150 million people here in this country.
Yeah.
Very few have done this. Okay, that's why the word is not out. Okay.
Okay.
It's only because somebody has taken the time and the effort to sit down and try and decipher this damn thing and find out what the lies and everything out here were really taking place.
And
also to read the Bible and see how the Bible fit right into this damn scenario too.
Right, I see that part. Have you had a lot of retaliation because you've done this?
No.
Okay. When you said
I don't go out and incite these guys. Okay. As long as you don't go out and incite them, basically, and you stay on point, okay, they cannot come in and cause you harm. Now, if you were an insider, if you had a bar card and tried this, they'd be all over you. They'd be throwing you off the roof like they're doing to half the bankers right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, now,
Better hearing you.
Go ahead.
What?
What if you have existing cases like child support that's due you kind of thing, and say there's other things like several years of taxes that you filed extensions for because you didn't make enough to owe anything, so you just put 0. Does that matter?
You have to come in as you have to put the responsible party, like Walmart. You're working in Walmart, okay?
Right.
Now, Walmart is responsible for taking care of your children.
Mm-hmm.
They have to supply the day care center, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. You got a marriage contract with the state. That's an insurance policy.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, so the state is basically one of the parents left. Now the state is obligated to step in and support the missing parent. All these guys that are in jail for child support and everything is total BS.
Right.
It's because they have placed a letter of marque against them and marked them as a criminal. But they're not really a criminal in the real world. They're a criminal in this dummy corporate world. So when you come in and you establish the fact that you are an employee of Walmart or of the USA corporation, now the USA corporation is on the same side as you in the court case. Now, if you got the USA corporation on your side against the state of Idaho or something in a court action, who's going to win?
Us.
The one with the biggest guns. basically the one that's got the money. And basically that's going to be the dummy corporation over the state dummy corporation. Because the state dummy corporation don't have any money. But the USA dummy corporation borrowed the assets from us. The state can't do it. They have to go through the USA dummy corporation. So they will concede to the higher authority. See how the game's played?
I do see what you're saying. I just don't really want to play the game with them. So.
Well, you've got to play the game, okay? You're in the game. You better play the game. I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
I don't want to play.
You gotta learn to swim. Swim in the sea of commerce.
Well,
hey, Patrick, you do that pretty good, you know.
Yeah, that was good.
you know, I think it was Steve or Stephen was discussing, and again, it's not to promote or discredit or credit anyone or anything, just to kind of, you know, figure this out. That Curtis was doing with the afterbirth and what have you. He apparently, from his own words, I've spoken to him, he is completely off and out of everything. If that's the case,
you prove to me that he's out of everything. He's not out of everything. He's bullshit.
You always have liabilities.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're still in it, even if you're not showing up on anything or what have, is that why this method is going to be the one that would take care of that part of it? It would just clear that out?
All of these guys that say that they're out of the system, they're not out of the system, or basically they have abandoned the system, okay? That's what basically most of them have done. They have left their assets there. They're not, they have deserted. They're deserters, okay?
Okay, but they're deserters in something that they never wanted to be a part of or signed up for with knowledge.
Yeah, but they are deserters of the country. They deserted their self, okay?
A fake country.
No, they deserted themselves, okay? They had a self-right, and they deserted themselves. They gave up some of their rights.
Well, they closed their mailbox. They don't accept service. They don't.
They did not claim their American inheritance, so they are a chicken shit.
Well, what if they don't care about the inheritance?
Huh?
What if they don't care about it? What if they don't want the money? They just want out.
It's not the fucking money, okay? It's basically your inheritance. What your forefathers worked their fucking ass off for. Okay? You're just pissing on your fucking parents' graves. Is what you're doing when you abandon that damn shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What would be the advantage and disadvantage of doing it? And you're definitely...
Because you don't love yourself, okay? You're somebody that does that, a deserter. Just like in the service, when they abandon their post, they don't love their fellow man. They don't love the land.
The difference is either you get in the limousine with us, or you go out there and you walk the rest of your life. It's not getting something for nothing, really. It's just taking advantage of the system like everybody else does.
Well, you're not taking advantage of the system. Basically, this goes all the way back to Adam and Eve.
Right.
What the hell? The earth was given to Adam and Eve. Right?
That's
Well,
what
they owe
I
it.
read.
Adam and Eve basically were to hand it down to everybody that came upon the line.
Right.
Okay? Now, if you don't claim your inheritance, you don't love your children.
I'm with you on all that. I get that part of it.
Okay. Then don't say anything more.
All right, let's move on.
Why don't you
Now-
respect your ancestors? All their hard work.
Someone that has only been on a couple of these calls now, not even full calls, and looking at the information, there's a lot of information on there where it looks like there have been things updated. So someone coming in now, where's the best place to start? I mean, are you going to go back all the way to the beginning and start and go through everything?
No,
Probably
I'm
go
done.
back a few months, and you need to know bookkeeping. You got to think about credits and debits and know what
Talk it over with some of the other guys that are on the group site. That's why there's a group site there, and there's a message board to ask questions.
Okay.
You're supposed to be out there getting interaction between the members out here.
Did you?
I'm not the one that's supposed to be answering all the damn questions, okay?
Yes,
I
we
set
work
this
them
up as a group site, as a working group, supposedly, is what my real intention was.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, dear. Let me jump in here. All right. Now,
let me answer her question. The welcome letter just was sent out yesterday. Read the welcome email, and it tells you how to join the groups and how to download the files and how to go about things.
Yes, I think it mentioned the Skype and what have you, and I'm not on Skype, so that I'm just on the regular group.
Well, you download Skype. It's free.
I won't be on Skype.
Yeah, and then it's an easy way to talk back and forth. I mean, you can talk on the computer, and you don't have to talk on the phone.
Right.
And you can type in messages and stuff like that. And you can post and
files.
send files and over to certain
familiar.
people and have them take a look at your documents and see whether they think you're missing a point or something like that. Okay? And see, that's what you guys are supposed to be doing, is working together. I've given you the basics, more than the basics, really, in the understanding of this. And then the audios up there are, you can disregard some of my ranting and ravings, but basically, you can get a audio program and cut some of that stuff out if you don't like it. Especially some of my American English.
Okay, if I wanted to start right now, I could use my Social Security number and do everything, right?
Yes.
Do I have to do a 56F or a 56, to assign myself as a financial?
Yeah, and basically you would want to reword that 56 appropriately for how I have the title on the 1099 C and the OID.
Would one say that 56 is an important part, because otherwise you really can't make a claim that you're a cashier, a banker, etc.?
Yeah, from the financial standpoint, yeah, you should have those in place. But when you send those out, you can send those copies over to those areas. Or you can take them up to your state AIQ office, IRS office, and have the AIQ office in the IRS there get those items out to the appropriate IRS departments.
I looked up AIQ on Google the other day. I spent about 10 minutes. I couldn't get nothing out of that AIQ.
Advisory, insolvency, quality.
Yeah. Because I was looking for an address. I couldn't find one. Could you just address it?
You're not going to find one. You just have to send it to the state capital, basically IRS office that market attention AIQ manager.
Okay. Every state has an IRS office, correct?
Every state has an IRS office. Every state has a Secret Service office. Every state has a Treasury office. Every state capital has a Federal Reserve branch office of the Federal Reserve located there, whether it's a fully functional, but see, the money goes through all the states, so they have to have all the components that are at the federal level.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to be a little belligerent with these guys, okay?
Yeah, practice on Patrick.
You're the citizen. I mean, you ought to see some of the stuff that I send off to them.
Yeah, belligerent. That's how I describe some of your stuff.
Very belligerent. Basically, I called the damn Secret Service. I sent the fax that the 3 C's document over to the Secret Service this morning and said, hey, what's your job? You supporting a damn traitor? Here, I've got the proof that he's a traitor.
Yeah, you sent out eviction notices over the weekend.
I've sent a lot of shit off to him. And I even used the word FWCK and basically get a little attention. One of the other things is basically using the word or the phrase self-defense. That will basically really bring their attention when you use that. And you do have the right of self-defense. And people have even gotten off from killing a cop. Because basically that cop infringed upon their rights. And the people were protecting themselves from that cop.
I'm sitting in a boarded-up house. First thing they did is took all my weapons. If you're going to piss somebody off, you better take all their arms away.
Yeah, but there's more people killed by a damn baseball bat or a damn knife than there are by guns.
Yep.
Now, you can kill a person with a book. You can kill a person with an ink pen. There's more weapons out there than you can shake a stick at. A gun is just one of them. And basically it makes too damn much noise, so I wouldn't recommend a gun anyway.
All right, so you got to get organized. You got to get your files together in your ledger pad. And if you want some quick money back, you got to send in a 1040 form. You know the long form, right?
No.
To generate a refund.
No.
Oh, okay.
You need to do a voucher. You need to do a 1099 OID, like for all the payments that you have made, like to Walmart. You go down and pick up all the receipts. Then you turn around and you do an OID for that amount, and you fill out the OID as a employee or a citizen of the way I have the header filled out on the example, okay? And then you come in and they withheld that funds from paying for that for those products. So you do an OID against them, and then you turn around and you do a 1099-A and claim that back. But to do the 1099-A, you need to really go and get your foreign grantor trust EIN.
Would that be the same thing as if you opened or applied for an EIN a few years ago and you put on there for banking purposes?
No, the one that you probably filled out was for an estate. Okay, this one you normally call up on the phone, but now supposedly they want you to fill out the form, but you have to mark it as a foreign grantor, and you have to read the instructions on the form, what it tells you to do about the foreign grantor. I don't know what the latest form says, but the SS4, when you pull it down, it should have the updated instructions if they want you to send the form in for a foreign grantor. You can talk to other people on the group site and basically that have gone and gotten it here in the last 3-4 months.
Yeah, you can probably do it online.
Okay, I'm going to drop off here. My voice is starting to get rough here. And you guys continue to talk this stuff over and chew my ass out while I'm off the line. Okay?
We don't chew your ass out. You gave us
one more question.
You gave us a lot of good detail. You gave us a lot of good detail tonight, Patrick.
You guys take care. Okay.
Bye. One more question. At the end of the year, you still got to do a 1040 form, right?
He's off. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. See you later.
Well, once you do the W-8 form, you become tax exempt, and if you have old taxes, then you can use this system, 1099-C, to cancel that debt.
Wow. Okay, you just keep everything balanced, and then you don't need to fill out tax forms. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I posted a little bit of a very rough flow chart or graph, and you just need to build on that. It's basically just make yourself 4 columns and try to, with the group or with yourself, just make arrows about each situation, change it for each situation, and flow chart it. There's original charge, and then what you're going to do with that original charge, you're going to try to set it off, and then against the you have, like, for instance, the utility has its ledger, and the employee of the utility would have its ledger. So say you're working for the utility company, right? The utility company is going to decide what expenses and incomes it has, and so is the employee. But all the employee's expenses are going to get sent back to the utility company. So that will be a debit on their side and a credit on yours. You see what I mean, how it works all 4 together? And so if you take all 4 of those together, I wish Patrick would have kind of got into that, but he's tired right now. But we'll try to get it all worked out. But each one of those 1099-Cs, 1099-As, those are all one of those 4 items. So, like, for instance, if you want to, cancel the debt, you're going to cancel the debt on your side, which you're the employee of the utility company in this little example. So you're going to send the utility company a cancellation of the debt. Then they're going to send you back, a credit for what you just spent for them. It's really kind of simple, but you have to kind of see it in front of your eyes. And it's a very stupid little graph that I put out there. It's on the Skype file sends at the bottom. You can just download it. But
you put it on the call group, so only the few people on the call group can see it.
On the call group, but it's really simple. It's nothing more than basically 4 little lines, and it says credit and debit on each side, utility at the top, then the utilities ledger's on one side, yours is on the other side. And basically, as soon as you get that picture, it's really going to help you a lot to understand it. Then
can you
realize
post it on the other Skype group?
I don't think I'm on that Skype group. It's
I can put you on there right now if you want.
Yeah, put me on it. I'll send it to you. But it's so basic. But you're going to get this, if you can get this in your mind, because I've talked to Patrick a lot, trying just to get this in my mind, because he just goes over it, in his mind, he knows it all. But as soon as you see these 4 accounts, basically, a debit and credit for the one side, the company, and a debit and a credit for you as the person. And just imagine your own
job. If we don't get it, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to see. We need to do a couple of transactions.
All right. Yeah, well, that's what it'll be. But you can think of it in your own mind right now. If you were working for a company, and you started paying out of your own pocket for something that the company really should pay for, you're going to submit them a charge. So that's going to come off of the company to pay you back. So it's just an exchange. Everything is an exchange between those 4 accounts. And the A, B, C, OID, and voucher, those are all the documents that make those transfers.
I just added you to the other group. You should see a window pop up.
Let's see. I didn't get a window popped up here.
You should get an orange window in the Skype area.
Yeah, I don't have that yet. Well, let me see. Maybe it's on this one here.
What's his name?
Eplo.
Eplo T. No, I don't see anything. I didn't get anything.
Well, let me type something in, see if you got that.
Oh, I see. Oh, wait. Here, you added me right here. Okay, I got it. Okay. All right, I'm going to send this other stupid little file right now.
Now, people need Open Office to do it. I'll convert it to a doc file.
All right. Okay. Well, let me send it to you, and you can just convert it to doc. It's really simple. It gets you that. I just wrote it up when I was just right here.
Right.
I see it.
But we need to run a transaction through. Now, the question I was trying to ask Patrick is, once Walmart gets a loan from the Treasury and basically gets a major lien there, then the Treasury, I gather, on the second level lien, divides it up among all of us.
Yeah. Well, to make it simple, the liens he's talking about are basically, he's just saying those are the positions. So in other words, until you have a charge, there's no lien.
It won't open.
Yeah, he's going to have to convert it to if you have Open Office, that was done in Open Office Draw, the free program. It's like a Microsoft program, but he can convert it probably to a doc. Maybe I can. Let me see if I can convert it.
Okay. Yeah, you can bring it into Open Office Word and then export it as a doc.
I just don't know if the drawing will let me convert it to one, but let me see if it will. No, it won't let me. It won't let me convert the drawing.
Well, I'll have to figure it out tomorrow, and I'll repost it tomorrow.
But it's basically, I'm just trying to help everybody that it's just 4 different accounts, 2 on each side, a debit and a credit on each side. And just imagine, we all deal with somebody else. We don't have to worry about the government or a utility company or anything like that right now. Just imagine dealing with someone else. And they have their debit and credit, and you have your debit and credit. And when you buy something, a pizza or whatever it is for someone else, they pay you back if they were supposed to pay for it. And that's really it. It's just these exchanges of these fees and these debits and credits. And the OIDs are basically those receipts that the government uses so they can be an official receipt.
I just did this. Well, that's not going to work. I typed it into Skype, but it doesn't work. Let's see if I can do the spaces a little bit differently.
But hopefully, because Patrick's very smart, and he's so smart that he doesn't even realize that it's sometimes difficult to understand.
Right.
When we get this done, as soon as we can take any kind of example and plug this into this little graph, and just write the arrows of which we're going to do with which thing, which way it's going to go, and which form we're going to use to do that. And pretty soon it will become very second nature to you.
So look in the Skype group. Is that sort of what you did?
Excuse me?
Look in the Skype group. Is that what you did?
Oh.
I did it just in like letters.
I think the main problem is it's an IRS form. It's really intimidating.
Yeah. Well, until you like what Patrick's trying to say is until you understand it first, don't worry about the IRS or the form numbers or anything. Just try to get the flow first.
But it sounds ABC simple when you really get the hang of it.
It really is, because we do it every single day. Mm-hmm. You know, with other people. Just imagine tracing money with other people.
I've always had a hard time thinking of a double entry book system.
Yeah. Double entry. Go ahead.
I've always thought of a checking account, and you just have debits and credits on one account all the time.
Yeah, see, that's why everyone thinks they know how this works, because they're only dealing it from one side, debits and credits of your own. But what he's saying is we're actually going to be doing debits and credits for the person that we're dealing with, because they're a corporation or a company. So it's kind of like when you work for a company, the company's not going to know you put any money out of your pocket to buy gas for their company car or anything until you submit them a charge. That's the only way they're going to know that you spent anything. Yeah,
that makes it perfectly clear.
And that's why there's two sets of books. One for them, a debit and credit, and one for you, a debit and a credit. And that's really all there is to it. The 1099 A's, B's, and C's are nothing more than those receipts, like if the company made you write out your charge that you paid for them on their company letterhead, and that's the only way they would accept it. That's kind of like what a 1099A or C is. It's their letterhead. It's their charges, so they can do their bookkeeping on their side with an official form, so they can credit you back, and everything will be worked out tax-wise. And so
Chris,
whether it's a utility bill, go ahead.
Did you say you were with the equity group, Chris?
No, this is Eplo.
Yeah, I'm Eplo. No, equity group.
I got you mixed up with this man.
No. I think you're talking about Chris Summers, maybe. He's on here.
Yeah, I'm just in the background.
Yeah, he knows this stuff a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
But it's basic. If you can just get the basics and get the flow, because Patrick, the way he talks about it, he just talks, so quickly back and forth. He's saying the same things, but it's just kind of like you have to know who the players are.
Okay, so let me understand this. I work for a company that provides a job vehicle, a work vehicle. I need some windshield wipers for the vehicle. I go down, I buy the windshield wipers, then I submit a form to my company headquarters for reimbursement.
Right.
Okay,
that's all you're doing.
If I'm an employee of the government, I'm spending money for my utility for electricity. I send them a form that says, hey, I paid money for this. You need to reimburse me now because this is your expense that I'm paying for you.
Yeah. So you would want to cancel their debt.
Okay. But if I paid it out of my pocket, I wouldn't be canceling that debt. I would submit the OID to get a refund.
Right. It comes out of your pocket. You slip the original issue discount. You originally paid the money.
Okay. So I would also do the 1099. I would also do the A form, right? 1099A.
Well, remember, there's 4 slots, 2 on each side. So the way I understand it, and I could be wrong. If I am, please, anybody pop up and tell me. But the voucher is going to be one of those positions. The 1099 OID is going to be another of those positions. The abandonment is going to be another one of those positions. And the cancellation, the C, is going to be another one. So depending from the position that you're coming at, In other words, the company normally would take care of their own debits and credits. If it came in from you, it would be a debit to them. In other words, a bill to them. But if you're working both sides, then you're saying you could have two credits, one for them and one for you. So an abandonment and possibly a voucher. And that's why I'm trying not to use those languages, because it gets confusing. But basically, it's just a debit and credit, and depending which side you're coming from. The hard part to understand is that we're doing both sides at the same time. So it's like, in your example of a company, it's like instead of you submitting that for the windshield wipers to the company, you're submitting a paper that takes care of it for the company. Like the company never has to see it. It just got submitted to the company through the IRS, and the company gets the thing from the IRS, and they charge it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just that you're working both sides at the same time. So 4 different positions.
Okay.
And once you think about this a little bit, just let it rest and just think about it, because it's really easy. Just kind of imagine it with some made-up thing in your mind, but you're working both sides, and then use the arrows and flip them back and forth about what you would do if you have this charge or this debit.
Epla, why don't we take the utility example that Patrick went through and just run it through the 4 columns sometime?
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to do, and I'm not, I'm explaining the basics of this because I'm not expert at it. That's what helped me understand it.
Well, Chris, do you understand it better? Could we maybe work on that for a few minutes tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that'd be okay.
Okay. What's a good time?
What time zone are you in again?
I'm Eastern. You're the other side.
So you're up, I would say anytime after 10 o'clock would be fine.
That's 10 your time?
Yeah, that'd be 1 o'clock your time.
That'd be 1 o'clock. That'd be fine for me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to get in on that call.
Just join the Skype group.
Yeah.
We'll do it on the check out of the system Skype group.
All right. Yeah, because as soon as we can put this down, it's going to be really easy to see.
I think it will be. Yes. Okay. I've got to call someone to tell them how to sign their penalty of perjury document. So I think if I hang up the call will continue and the recording will keep going until the last one you hang up.
I can't wait to scare the hell out of this code enforcement attorney that's been bugging the shit out of me.
For what?
It's a long story. He's got 4 kidnapping charges on me now. Actually, I was arrested. And actually, I found out today.
Is there any court case?
Yeah, I've got exculpatory evidence, and my house is condemned, and they want a final inspection, and they want me to hire a bunch of contractors again and go through their.
Okay, well you need to look into Patrick's court trump card.
Yeah.
And also his counter affidavit. Now the woman Sheba, who had been successful with that, was going to come on tonight, but she left us a message saying that she didn't get to court because of bad weather today, so she wanted to be able to report on that too. So she'll probably be on next Sunday's call.
Mm-hmm.
Try to remember that no matter what anybody comes against you with, it's just a charge, and you need to know how to discharge that charge.
Right, and the court trump card, basically, if it turns into a court case, you basically revoke all the underwriters, and so there's no money in it for them.
It helps to get locked up so you have your adrenaline all up, too, so that nothing scares you.
Yeah. Right.
Because I was in front of that judge again yesterday, and I made the bejesus said, you might want to recuse yourself. Do you have evidence for this? And then I started talking about the dirty hands doctrine or the clean hands doctrine, Oh, man. They were really gently with me.
Also ask him and the prosecutor, do they have bar cards? And they won't answer.
Yeah.
They won't answer.
Well, I handed them a
Ask them 3 times.
Yeah. I handed them a handwritten affirmation about my status, and I had bars in bold capital print, So when they saw that, they handed it right back to me. They didn't want to hang on to it.
Okay. Well, I've got to go right now.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Hey, I just want to take before the guy that's talking right now. Try to imagine, like I said, if
we're gone.
Hello?
Everybody hung up.
Yep, sounds like everybody's hanging up.
Well, good night, all.
Yeah, good night.
All right. Night.
Yeah, who do we got left? Marshall?
I think everybody hung up. Almost.
Oh, I'm here. Pat? Yeah, Marshall, how's it going? Okay. Great call. Yeah. Who else is here? Is that Pat? Pat, are you still on?
No, it's Gita. I couldn't unmute myself
okay.
for a second. Marshall, did you get the email? Who's
Yes,
on the
that
line?
was very nice. We listened to it today.
Unbelievable. She's amazing. Who else is on other than you and me? Who?
This is Tom. I'm driving. I'm from Michigan.
You're driving right now?
Yeah. I'm driving. I'm driving actually through Michigan to Ohio.
Are you a truck driver?
Well, I'm driving van. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's good. At least you can get on the call and listen. But anyway, Marshall,
absolutely.
yeah, it's great.
Favor.
Who's that? Jennifer? Is that Jennifer on also, or somebody else?
One of the workers there.
Who's talking? Hey, Marshall.
Hey,
yeah.
The lady that you that was from the Angela Stark. Do you know anybody else that she researched with, or have you talked to Angela Stark at all about her status?
She, you mean Joyce, the woman who was on?
Yeah.
She passed away. She had a stroke.
Yeah, I know, but does anybody else know of her, or?
I think she was on James Madison's call also. If you go on Angela's website and you look on guest speakers, her name is on there. When you click on the name, her info comes up, and you can just research her stuff.
Hey, do you talk
Joyce.
with Angela at all?
No, I've listened to a few of her stuff because I just don't have time to listen to a lot more. But she has some pretty good guests.
Yeah, she
but
does.
I've donated to her a couple of times. Just so I can help her, just a few bucks.
Gita, Gita, this Marshall, did you get the name of the book that she was talking about?
You mean the book that Joyce was talking about?
Yeah, there was some book that she was talking about, or somebody was talking to her about some of the documents that she had used.
You might be able to find it when you on the link I gave you.
Okay.
I gave you a link to the site that has her info, and then you can just look up and see if you see because I think she has it all put up there. Patrick has actually spoken to Joyce too, and did you hear when they were talking together?
No,
Yeah, you got to listen to. It's like 5 hours though. It's like ridiculous, but. A couple of them, but Patrick and her spoke together, and she said, "Patrick, where have you been all my life? I can talk to you for days." It was really cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if he remembers her, but I think they spoke once, maybe only once, and then she passed away. Yeah, sad. She was her information was amazing. She said some of the stuff. You just have to listen to it because I listened to it once and there's so much information. I have to listen to it again, pause it, write stuff down.
I just clicked on it and was listening to it, and then after I got done listening to it, it was 4 hours. Then I went and downloaded it because I wasn't sure if I could get back to it or not, but I did get it downloaded, so I got to listen to it again.
Yeah, I do that. I download stuff and keep it and delete it, only the stuff that I don't want. Yeah. It's very good information, so it's good to share.
Great. I appreciate that. I did get it, and thank you.
No problem. That's what we're here for, to share, right?
Right. Right.
All right, I'm going to go back to work. I got a lot of stuff to do. But Patrick is he's quite funny. He throws a lot of little funny things in and like just little things, little puns and stuff he throws in, which is quite funny.
Yeah,
all right, Marshall. Yeah?
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Catch you later.
You guys keep talking. Good night.
Bye. I'll just call you on the regular line, Tom.
All right, sounds good.